I don't know what your class is.
She's with software.
They're gonna work some software. Poor mama.
Her. Look at Dee Dee. She's so sweet.
She's got this.
Go down. Down. Go.
All the way down.
All the way down.
All the way down.
Yes, I agree.
Seventh grade, any students who have not left their room yet, please report to the auditorium.
Walking up, shouldn't have been on your offside. across the flags all the time.
Guys, this way.
I'm not sitting on video.
Ellie, keep going. There's a time and place.
When my mom was stacked, when we had a suicide pact, so it's a broken heart and it has a tear on it for veteran suicide awareness. So all the money that she got from home, she put into the battery tank, and all of that helped her. I like how is going to be hers? I learned the most. I'm serious. So what's it? They go to the no, I always.
Good morning. Thank you.
Maybe later at the beach.
Welcome to our Veterans Day Assembly. We're honored to have our veterans here with us this morning. We're so grateful for the service they provided to our nation. They are, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we are here today. It's also really fantastic to be able, this is now my third year here at the View, and it's really fantastic for me to be able to have this type of an assembly, which is real important to me, to have it in person. So I think that's pretty fantastic. Before we begin, I'd like to welcome a few individuals. First, I'd like to introduce District 14 Commander Bill Harmer, Commander John Brady from the Elk Mountain VFW Post 8488, the Auxiliary Junior Vice Chairperson Deb Schultz, other members of our veterans and our Post Auxiliary. Let's give them a round of applause and thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the posting of the colors. Please remain standing. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Commander John Brady of VFW Command Post 8488.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving us this time. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the fighting of World War I ended in 1918. Due to the conclusion of the war to end all wars, November 11th became a day of universally recognized observance. This day was originally declared Armistice Day, 8 years after the end of World War I, and honored only veterans of that war. Then in 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, it was renamed Veterans Day to honor all veterans who served America in war and defend democracy. So today we honor all our veterans who unselfishly placed their lives on the line for our freedom. Those men and women were ordinary people. Only they heard the call of duty and answered it. They left their families, their homes, and their lives, not for recognition or fame, or even the honor we bestow upon them today. They fought to protect our country, to maintain our way of life. As we honor our veterans and remember their great deeds, let us also salute those who are currently fighting for our freedom. The war on terrorism has helped us realize how truly unique the American way of life is. The freedom we enjoy is extremely special, and that is why we must defend it. So now in this time, to not only honor those who have fought or are fighting for our freedom, it is also the time for each of us to take our part in protecting it. The defense of freedom is not just for those in the military. Each of us shares that duty and that responsibility. We don't have to join the Army or the Navy or any other organization of defense to actively defend our way of life. We can protect our freedom simply by maintaining it here in America. If we want to preserve our freedoms, we must put them into action. For example, by voting in elections or speaking out against injustices. We must also ensure that everyone feels the benefits of freedom. We can do that by volunteering in our communities or teaching our children what it really means to be an American. Veterans Day isn't just a day for veterans. It's a day for all Americans. It's a day to remember why they were fighting, and a day for all of us to begin our journey, protecting our freedom and the freedom of many future generations. Thank you for honoring veterans today. Let us walk toward tomorrow still honoring them by living in the freedom they protected. With that, we have a program in the VFW called the Voice of Democracy. Every year, we ask students such as yourselves to write an essay. This year's theme was, what is a veteran? And this year's winner Ms. Schultz, would you step up? And Alexis, please, step up. This year's winner is Alexis Kozlowski. We're proud to present with her a little note.
It's $300.
Check $300 to the winner. All right, every year we give the winner $300 check, as well as the auxiliary
The
has.
building has a backpack, official BMW, Voice of Democracy. It's on your vacation. And from here on, her essay will be sent to District 14 for judging. If she wins there, she will go on to state and then on up to national. So we wish you a lot of luck. I want to say one more thing about Miss Alexis here. She was a runner-up last year, but she did not give up. And this year she is our winner. Thank you.
You step up and read your winning essay.
Why is the veteran important? A wise man once told me, it matters where you've been to know where you are going. When I read this year's Voice of Democracy prompts, I couldn't help but think of these words. I mention this quote because it is easy to forget why we are privileged to enjoy freedom and the vast opportunity we have, since it is all my generation has ever known. But how did we get here? We read from textbooks and watch movies about all the chaos and suffering our country has endured, because it is in the past and we think there's no point in giving such a time any concern now. However, it is thanks to those who sacrificed themselves then who gave us what we have now. In the most hopeless of times in history, our veterans were the ones to ensure the protection of our country for not only us in the present, but the generations to come as well. Veterans lend a hand to those who need it most and take our world small steps closer to the promise of peace with each act of service. They allow us to move forward as a whole and into the future, offering protection to our home while they sacrifice the loss of theirs. America is one of the most powerful nations in the world where we can build society in which our generations will thrive, all from the work and sacrifice of our veterans and their dedication to our safety. The heart of a veteran is a pure one and a rarity that should be more often acknowledged. Yet veterans do not get enough of the appreciation they deserve. Many struggle with numerous hardships such as homelessness, unemployment, abandonment, and emotional and mental suffering. When they offer their services to protect us and our country, why is it that we neglect to extend a hand to them now? Not only are veterans our protectors, but they are also our greatest role models. We should learn from their selflessness, strength, courage, loyalty, and patriotism to reciprocate these qualities and care for them in their most vulnerable of times. We would like to think that their extraordinary strength makes them invincible, but we fail to remember that they are still people just like any of us who deserve our support and help more than anyone. They gave us all they had to guarantee us a life of safety and freedom, and now it is time to return the favor. The quote I mentioned before is applicable to many things in life, but it was told to me by my grandfather, who was a veteran himself, serving in the Korean War. I will always miss my talks with my grandfather, which I took for granted, but now I see the wisdom and value in his words. He worked hard and fought so that his descendants, such as myself, would be able to live a life full of privilege and opportunity. To have known such a remarkable man, I am forever grateful, and in his memory, I make certain that I pay all veterans with my respect. Why is the veteran important? Without veterans, we would not be where we are today. Veterans are the heart of our democracy. They are our role models, our protectors, and the force that drives us forward into a life of liberty.
So ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Price brought a number of poppies for our student body today. And just before our band plays a number of selections, just want to give you an idea of why the poppy and the story of the poppy. So if you see poppies before, maybe outside of if you see the veterans outside of a grocery store, they've been giving poppies if you make a donation. And poppies, which are a bright red flower, became a symbol of Veterans Day after the bloody World War I battle in Flanders Field, which took place in Belgium. The soil in the battlefields became scattered with rubble, making the soil rich with lime, the mineral, not the fruit. And poppies thrived in this fertile soil. And many soldiers were buried in Flanders Field, creating a contrast of white crosses and vibrant red poppies. Major John McCrae was a Canadian surgeon who was moved by the sight of this, leading him to pen one of the most memorable war poems ever written in Flanders Field. Should you decide to wear the poppy today, please ensure that you wear it on your right side. The red represents, again, the blood for all those who gave their lives. The black represents the mourning of those who didn't have their loved ones return home. And the green leaf represents the grass and crops growing and future prosperity after the war destroyed so much. The leaf should be positioned at 11 o'clock to represent the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the time that World War I formally ended. So we will have those poppies available for you today, should you choose to take one. At this time, Mr. Stiver and the members of our band will play an Armed Forces medley. Thank you, Mr. Stiver. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we were looking for a guest speaker for the assembly today, one of the things that I talked with, I'm sure you all know Mrs. Price up here, Mrs. Price and Mr. Price are certainly the prime movers in our assembly today, and I want to thank them for being here as well. But I talked to Mrs. Price about a guest speaker, and I said I would really like it to be someone who is a veteran who works in the high school. And maybe you're aware, maybe you're not, Mrs. Andrea Ayton and Mrs. Amy Getz are our 2 veterans in high school. Can we please give them a round of applause? The third individual who I was well aware of was actually not a veteran, but an active service member, who I asked if he would speak to in our assembly today. Is actually a gentleman who does not very much like to speak in front of large groups. Some of you know him as Coach Q. And we know him, of course, as Harold Casada. Coach Q is a member of the National Guard. He's currently stationed in New York State. And we asked Coach Q if he would speak at the Veterans Day Assembly, and he gave me the response that I knew he was going to give. And he said, "No, thank you, sir." And then we kind of twisted his arm a little bit and said, "Well, what if we brought you in and had our digital media students conduct an interview with you, and then take that interview? Would that be something that you would be agreeable to?" And he said, "No, thank you, sir." And I said, I wasn't asking about the second part. And because Coach Q is the man that he is, he said, "Okay, I'll do it." So when we met Coach Q, again, 3 years ago, correct? One of the things that he told us when he was interviewing to be our men's soccer coach was, he said, "I hope this isn't something that you'd be opposed to, but I may have to miss some practices because of my service to the country." And Mrs. Price and I both kind of almost fell off of our chairs and said, "Sir, that's absolutely more than fantastic, and that's certainly another reason why we would want you to be leading our team, because of your service and dedication to our country." So we're very happy to have, honored to have Coach Q as our head coach. So I want to ask you now to, Mrs. McHenry, roll it, and here's Coach Q.
Okay, so let's start off like the very beginning, on like how you joined the military.
How I joined, well, I came to this, I did, first of all, when I came to this country, and it was so much, so I'm trying to give something back. So the way to do it was just join the Armed National Guard, so without that community.
What were you?
I was actually I was old, 32 years old, and I joined.
And what's your
I'm the first sergeant, actually. First sergeant for the main company, support main school, local 5. And Staten Island is my junior station. Yes, actually I flew with overseas, and we actually do the Marines actually ground support. So now also medical units were Navy actually. So yeah, we have combined forces. So myself, Marines, and Navy, Air Force. So yes.
what exactly do you do?
And actually, well, like I said before, the first sergeant in charge of the whole company. But my M1S, which is my skills, the military is I'm a mechanic actually, and I maintain that.
Fix
Yeah, well, you guys see all the time that the convoys and things in the highways, right? Those big vehicles, that's what we work on. So, this is mechanic.
Okay, so today, we interrupt the following segment to recognize Coach Q's great accomplishment.
Coach Q receives a promotion based on overall performance, attitude, leadership ability, and professional development.
So this award is given for the recognition of capability, responsibility, and leadership.
Coach Q is a dog tag that reminds us of the following Army values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal challenge.
We hope for you to take the following segment as a reminder to thank all of the veterans of your life. And any veteran you see walking around, make sure you give them a thank you.
What's the worst MRE you've eaten?
Oh, the worst is actually, you know, that they put it on MREs is a pizza. That's the worst. It is. Looks like you are eating a break or something. Best, I was in the military, the best is a chili. At least that's my favorite. I'm sure somebody else have other things, but that's my favorite.
Memories with other people?
Yeah, since in my time, free time, we did a little like competition or something when we played soccer. But the fun thing is that we play soccer while everybody is around for the car. So I remember that all the time. The military is structure, you know, it's a discipline. They came with that, but you know, reinforces by training standards to push hard to work as a team. You know, this I don't know what you know on coaching here, but I try to apply that to the team. You know, that they need to rely on each other, they need to support each other, they need to trust each other. Team, you know, that team members not listen to do, but you know, what the role is in there's no team.
What is Veterans Day mean to you?
The whole country actually stops to honor the military is serving and still serving the military. It's really sad for us veterans, it's another day, you know, just another normal day, but for other people maybe it's different, but it's a federal holiday, and they give the day off.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for us. And incidentally, I'm sure he's not going to enjoy this either, but Coach Q will be marching in the Veterans Day Parade in New York City tomorrow. So, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are wrapping up our assembly today, I want to thank you all very much for your support. Can you please give another round of applause for our veterans? And I apologize if I'm going to miss anybody, and probably going to do so. Certainly, as I said before, I want to thank Mrs. Jan Price. She loves being up here on stage and loves recognition. As you can see her shrinking in her seat. And her husband, Mr. Phil Price, they really are the prime movers of our assembly from year to year, and very grateful for all that they do for us. I also want to thank Mr. Stiver and members of our band. We give them another round of applause. I want to thank you, Carly and Mrs. McHenry, and members of our digital media class for the interview, for getting Coach Q to come into the building and do an interview. So at this time, please wait until you are directed by your teachers, and we'll have a recessional. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are dismissed, we are going to